here today to address the top 5 poses of my choosing for healing and tending to tendinitis problems, arthritis problems, and bursitis problems. So I do want to mention that these are all inflammatory kind of injuries to the shoulder, and in my paper previous to this video, there's techniques that you can do for icing the shoulder and a lot of ideas that you can do. You could even ice the shoulder after you do some of these yoga poses just to keep it from getting aggravated. Always make sure that you're cleared from your doctor or your PT before you start any kind of exercise program or yoga program. But these, in my experience from working with my athletes, these are my top 5 poses for helping bursitis, tendinitis, and arthritis. Most importantly, I just want to address bursitis for a second before we start. That in front of the shoulder, there is a bursitis, and that protects what the protruding bone here from the skin. And that's what happens when people get bursitis, is these muscles in the front of the shoulder tend to get very tight and clamp down on the bursitis, inflame it, aggravate it, and that's when you start getting those dull, achy pains. And a lot of times I'll have people come to me and say, my shoulder hurts, and it hurts right here, and they start rubbing that, and that can actually aggravate the bursitis. It can actually give you bursitis. So if you have pain there, don't rub it and go, this hurts right here, because that's just aggravating the problem. So look over those icing techniques, but also we're going to give you some poses today that are going to open up that anterior deltoid, chest, give it the muscles a little more slack so they lay off the bursitis a little bit. When we're addressing arthritis, it's just about maintaining the flexibility, range of motion in the joint, and keeping that joint just kind of like oiled up. So the tendinitis too tends to be more in the elbow, but some people do get it in the shoulder. So these poses are also going to address opening up the upper arm, so they release, and the bicep in particular, they release some of the tension across that elbow, and again, give you more slack and range of motion and movement in the shoulder joint. Okay, so we're going to start with bow pose. She's going to, we got Chelsea here today again with us. She's going to come onto her belly, lie down onto the belly, and she's going to, you could rest your head first, just kind of check it out, right? As I say in all my poses and that I've been explaining to you within this course for shoulders, I don't know what she's giggling about, but she's giggling. But you might want to get some people to take pictures of you while you're in these poses, so you could really study and notice your asymmetries and imbalances in your body. Because if you don't address them, you're just training the asymmetric, imbalanced body, and that's not suiting anybody. The first and foremost thing you want to do in rehabbing any part of your body is make sure you're symmetrical, make sure you're even, and then you can train the body and get stronger, faster, more powerful. So let's bend the knees. And you're going to reach around and grab the outside of your lower legs with each hand. Now this, right away, takes a little flexibility in the quad. Usually not too much of a problem, but if you do happen to be super tight, you could use a strap around your legs and just hold the strap until you're more flexible in the quads to hold the leg. I do prefer you hold the leg rather than the toes and the ankles or the foot, because now you're only really working the ankle joint, right? So we want that out of the equation, holding onto the lower leg. This is level 1. Before she even goes anywhere, grabbing the outside of the leg. As you become more open, flexible, and stronger in the shoulder, you're going to flip the hands to the inside of your legs, thumbs face up, and that's just going to get deeper in your bicep, shoulder, and chest. A little bit of a different angle. But for today, I just wanted to show you that variation. We're going to go level 1. Okay? Good. So if you do this and you start to feel tension in your low back right away, press the low back into the hips into the floor to try to release that tension. So Chelsea's going to flex her feet, right? Good. She's going to use all leg power. This is trying to relax the back, all about leg power. She's going to push her legs back so hard that her upper body comes up. Beautiful. She's very flexible in the back, so if you don't look like you should be on the bow of a ship, don't worry about it just yet. In time, that might happen. You might be, let's show them how normal people look. You might be here, but you're still doing the same thing. You're still accessing the same stretch. So let's go for it. Bring it up. Legs come back, come back, come back. That lifts her upper body up. I don't see a better way ever to open up the whole chest, the front of the throat, front of the shoulder, all the way through the biceps. Even forearms can be stretched here a little bit. And you stay here, 5, 10 breaths, 30 to 60 seconds, whatever you can do. But you're breathing. As you breathe in, maybe you lift the upper body up. As you breathe out, the lower body comes up. You hold, and then you release it in control. Let the legs go. Generally a good idea to press into a child's pose when you come out of that. You could do it 2 or 3 times, or if you give it one big, great go, that should be enough. But it really is, it is a strengthener of the spine, which we want to do anyway, but it stretches your entire front body from the tips of your toes to your chin, as well as expands and opens the whole shoulder girdle, okay? So now we're going to come to camel, Chelsea's favorite, but we're going to have to tame her down a little bit because I want to show you what level 1 looks like. So she's coming to standing on her knees. Her knees are hips width apart, and for some of you, you might need a little extra cushion under the knee. Level 1, we're going to start with toes tucked. Okay, so you don't have to go quite as deep. Your heels will be up a little closer to your grasp. You want your heels facing straight up to the sky. You don't want them dropping out or dropping in. We don't want to cause knee problems, right? We want to keep the knee nice and safe at all times. Tuck the tailbone under. Good. Arms up to the sky. This could be it for now. This could be a very big challenge for some of you, especially if you're just cleared to start working out. Hold it here a few deep breaths. Let the arms go. Regroup. Do it again. So level 2, arms up to the sky. Don't get ahead of me now. You ready? We're going to bring the left arm down and grab the left heel. Okay? So she's holding on, but you're not sinking in. So show them sinking in. We're not doing that. We're holding on. We're actually pushing off that foot, launching up, opening up here, drop the head back to open up the front of the throat, and the other arm is up to the sky. If this is all you can do right now, that's cool. You come up, lead with the heart to come up, and then switch sides. Other arm would come down, arm is up, okay? If that's good, you're ready to move on, then you're going to bring both hands down onto your heels. Okay, now the key here is not to sink in, is to launch up, launch forward, and drop back. The energy of the lower leg is down, the hips forward, the heart up, and if you can, if you feel safe, you drop the head back. So you get all opening in the front of the body. Even the front of the neck will help free up that shoulder and where the bursa sac tension was that I talked about. You want to imagine you're a sail on a sailboat and a big wind just came behind you and pressed the hips forward. You're also going to get a nice quad stretch and hip flexor stretch too. So are you still good here? If you're really good and you want to move on to even more advanced, you would start here and then perhaps untuck your toes and hold it there. That's just deepening the pose, deepening the back bend, opening the spine more, and just giving you more freedom and more flexibility. So from the heart, on your next inhale, come up, and she's going to go back into a child's pose just to ease the back from that long, deep back bend. Breathing there, 30 seconds to a minute, 1 to 3 breaths. You're going to have to start slow. Some people get a little nervous there, but do the best that you can. Right? Good one? Okay. So we're going to move on now. She's going to flip it around to inverted plank. So she's going to come to seated, extend the legs forward. Now, one thing that people really don't address, and I think it's super important when you're addressing the shoulder and any kind of limitations in the shoulder, we always talk about surrounding joints and muscles to release where the pain, pressure, injury is the wrist. Not many people address the wrist joint. And opening the flexors, extensors is very crucial in releasing bicep, tricep, therefore shoulder. Very big step in rehabbing the shoulder. So we're going to do it with inverted plank. You're going to bring the hands behind you on the floor. You're going to lean back on them. And just like our other poses, your hands are plug in the socket. I want finger spread, palms flat. Feel your whole hand on the floor. You're going to lean back a little bit. You're going to push into the hands and into the heels so hard that you lift up and become an inside-out plank pose. We did plank in other videos. Push, lift, drop the head back. Lead with the heart, not with the head. See if every inhale you can lift up here a little bit more and more. Good. You just feel bicep, tricep, front of the shoulder, chest, and wrist. 5 to 10 breaths. Take a deep breath in Exhale, let it down to the floor. If that's too hard for you in the beginning, I'm going to quickly show you a little variation. Just bend your knees, feet flat. We're going to do inverted table. If that's just a little bit too much weight to bear and you're not quite ready for that yet, knees bent, feet flat, push and lean back into the hands. Take a deep breath in, hips high, drop the head back. Good. So you're pushing into the whole foot, the whole hand. Every inhale, lift higher, open more, and then lower it down. Great alternative to do. Really stretches out the flexors extensors. A good one to do for or to deter carpal tunnel syndrome with people using their computers and their phones so much, to open up that wrist joint. So now we're going to go into a different stretch, a different opening, a little bit more restorative, rabbit pose. I'm going to start in child's pose, which we've talked about in other videos in this course for shoulders. Hips far back, right? She's going to tuck her chin to her chest now and bring her hands to her low back. Interlace your fingers at your low back, okay? So she's going, as you saw her adjust that, it's automatic for her, might not be automatic for you. Once she got length in the arm, she squeezed the shoulder blades together behind her, and what does that do? It strengthens all the muscles in the posterior shoulder girdle, at the same time as opening all and stretching all the muscles in the front. So she's going to start to raise her arms up off her back, keep squeezing those shoulder blades together behind. As she does that, she tucks her chin to her chest more and more and lifts her butt off the floor. Arms are going to come up and over. Now keep your eyes open here. It's just going to help your balance a little bit. Ground yourself through your lower legs so you don't somersault on me. And bring the arms up and over, up and over, up and over. If you can, you want to get a little tighter in the pose. Someday you walk the knees all the way up to your forehead. But that's not necessary in order to open the shoulders really well. Good. 5 to 10 breaths, 1 to 3 minutes. Crucial to coming out of this pose is first, always bring the hands back down to your low back. Then you can release the grip in the hands and go back to child's pose. Never, can you come back to rabbit for a second? Full expression of rabbit. Never release your hands from the grip here. Don't even do it to show them, right? That's dangerous for the shoulder. It's just not nice. Let's not do that. We always want to honor that shoulder joint, which is very complicated, ball and socket joint, and bring it down. Good. Let it go. Okay, so you're going to rest there for a second. What I want to explain to you is doing that pose. Since you interlace your fingers behind your back, interlacing, right? Simple as that. Interlace. You do that 1 to 3 minutes, 5 to 10 breaths. Then you're going to do it again, but you're going to interlace the fingers the opposite way. The way that's not your habit. It's going to tap into the shoulders just a little bit differently. So instead of being here, when I do this, I automatically left pointer on top. All you do is shift it so your other pointer is on top, and then do it again. And you're going to feel it a little bit different. You'd be surprised how that little shift changes everything in the shoulders. Okay? So let's release that one as she is. She's resting. And we're going to come face the camera now. I'm going to come to seated. We're going to do a pose called eagle, but we're not going to do the full expression of the pose, which adds the lower body. All we're going to do is eagle pose sitting. Some people, it's even hard to sit in easy cross-legged like this. If that's the case, you can always sit on a block. I love this pose. It is the key to opening up the entire rotator cuff. You're even going to feel an itchy stretch in a place in your shoulder that you never do when you're stretching the shoulders. So you're going to bring the arms out in front of you. And let's, for ha-ha's sake, right arm over the left. And then you bend the elbows, okay? Now, I'm going to go sideways so you can see that the thumbs are going to be where they could poke you in the face, okay? Some people can't get deeper than this, and all they're going to do for eagle is put the backs of their hands together and work eagle from here. If you have enough range of motion already, then you're going to go into full expression, which is wrapping the right arm behind and trying to get palm to palm, okay? So there's a little bit of pressure pushing the palms together. So certain disciplines of yoga do this pose, and they have the arms very, very low, right? If you're used to Bikram or hot yoga, arms are very, very low, right? But in this variation, it's a little bit different because our goal is to get into that rotator cuff and stretch it like nothing else to release the joint and heal some of that inflammation. So what we're going to do is bring the elbows up as high as the shoulders, When you do that, it's very tempting to let the shoulders come up into the ears, but keep the shoulders down, elbows up, and then your hands are going to come forward, away from your face. So from a side view, we're not here, it's elbows as high as my shoulders, hands forward, right? Shoulders down. And it's a big ping pong match. The longer you hold it, elbows up, hands forward, shoulders down. Oh, my elbows went down. So elbows up, hands forward, shoulders down. And you can start to feel right in that scapula, top, maybe even some traps. Some people feel tricep, but it's deep, itchy stretch in that shoulder joint. Nothing should be pain that you want to run away from. It's so intense. So take your time. Hold it 1 to 3 minutes. You're going to let it go. Obviously, we got to do the other side. So it would be left arm on top, then the elbows. Both sides, different story. So you maybe get deeper, maybe not. Hold the same way. Shoulders down, elbows up, hands forward. Right, and let it go. Shake it out. If you're really ambitious, you can flap your wings for 30 seconds to a minute. Yeah, better. Very challenging, brings a lot of heat to the shoulders, great way to warm up. And that's all we got for today. Those are my top 5 picks for tendinitis, arthritis, and bursitis. We got bow pose, camel pose, inverted plank or table, rabbit pose, and eagle arms. So that's it for today, and we'll see you next time.